about it. Y'all thought that you were just going to come here to learn how to publish a book, right? It's more than that. And that's why we have the title, Release, Write, and Publish the Book Inside of You. Now is the time for us to say yes to God and all of those things that He has prepared for us. There are people waiting on you. And I sure don't want anybody waiting on me because I was a little hesitant. Right? Okay, so if you're ready, come on and let's go on the journey. My name is Stephanie Miller, and I am a proud member of Windsor Village United Methodist Church. And my book came the hard way. Back in 2001, I ended an 11-year history of working in educational publishing. I work for one of the larger publishing companies. Remember, I don't know, some of y'all are kind of young, but remember C. Jane, C. Big, C. Spot, Run. Okay, that company. And I had an opportunity. I was always what you call a voracious reader. My librarians knew me because I checked out more books than anyone. However, I was not the best one in bringing them back on time. But because I could read, and I read so well, they gave me grace. Thank God for grace. So after traveling out of several states, the Lord blessed. I started as an educational consultant, and then I did sales representative 1 year, did not like it. And so I started working as the director of school relations, and then eventually I ended up in sales management. And when the time came for me to stop and to cease, God put it upon my heart to start a publishing company. I went, whoa, a publishing company. Well, I went to get the background work, but I didn't do it then because God had more work for me to do. And don't you know that our life is a journey? So what you read, what you write, and what you read about is all part of what God has purposed from A to Z. So I came on staff at Windsor Village. I had an assignment. When I fulfilled it, I moved on. But then I went back into the corporate world. Have y'all ever done something kind of like backtracking, and sometimes it's like, okay. Well, we're going to pick up. This is where the story goes. This is my story. Once upon a time. Once upon a time, I was doing very well, happy with the family, making money, impacting lives, and I was driving from Austin, Texas, in the rain, and all of a sudden, I hear the voice of God. God speaks. And He continues to speak, and He will speak through you in your writing. And at that particular time, God said, look to the left. And at that very moment, there was a car that just left the pavement, hydroplane, turned like a missile, and hit me. Well, I thank God for His grace because He led me through it. It was just last week that I read the EMT report and that I read the report from the first hospital. And y'all, it was pretty bad. I was pinned in the car. And the EMT said, well, we can't see the end of her body. So they immediately started working to get me cut out of the car. The other car flipped over. One person was ejected. They life-flighted them to Austin, and then they stabilized me until I went to go spend the next month in Ben Cobb General Hospital. So here's the timeline. So you said, okay, Stephanie, where did the book come from? This is the book. And it always starts with a whisper and with a thought. Back in February 2006. Now, this is a 3-year process, and I think it's very important for you to know, even though you have the book inside of you, some books come quickly, but some books will take time. Mine had to take time, and I'm going to share with you why it was a process. one of our church members came to visit me in the hospital, and she handed me a journal, and she said, you know, this did not happen to you for no reason. You have to write. There's a book inside of you. Now, one of the things that you have to let me share with you. Now, my injuries were very severe. I had a C2 fracture. If any of you are in the medical field, that's called the Hayman's fracture. So usually it kills you instantly, and if you're blessed, you're paralyzed. But thank the Lord, none happened to me. So I'm in the hospital with a brace on, and I had to keep a brace on my neck continuously for the next 6 months. Now, women, we like our hair. And we like to wash our hair. We like to style our hair and change it. I could not take that brace off for anything. For anything. Not even to bathe or anything. Even when they took x-rays and CT scans, I had to have the brace on. So you're wondering, if you're there immobile and someone gives you a journal, how did you write? Well, remember, God speaks to us in so many different ways. If you are a pad person, pad and pencil, do it. If you are a person that likes to record things, record it. If you have to have Post-it notes everywhere and then put them in a Ziploc baggie, do that. But for me, I had to go inside and to listen to what God really wanted me to do. So that was 2006. So as time went on, I was able to sit. When I was able to sit up and I was discharged to go home, what I would do then is I had a TV tray and I had my laptop computer. Laptop computers are a blessing, trust me. So I sat there, and what I needed to do, because you have to realize that when you're immobile, and if any of you have ever had the opportunity to care for someone, you know that they go through mental changes. But I thank God I did not, because my faith is strong. And one of the things that I did is I would read scriptures, and I would go to studylight.org. And the reason that I like that, I am a fan of the Amplified Bible. We use New King James, but it has Amplified and loads of other versions. So every time the Lord spoke to me about something, I did cut and paste. So what you will see is, over a period of time, I started gathering scripture, and I started gathering any other thing that pertained to what I was going through or the book that was deep inside. So you see, the next thing is October 2006, my focus changed. Well, you know why my focus changed? Well, that was 1 year prior to my big bonus coming, and I got a certified letter saying that I was terminated. Well, I'm going to be very honest with you. I was disappointed and I was hurt. That might have been the second time that I ever cried throughout this entire process. But you know what the Lord told me? He said, you may be looking at a blessing one way. He said, but the way I'm going to bless you is far beyond what anyone could possibly do. So my focus changed, because one of the things we do as writers, how many of you have books somewhere already started? How many of you have completed your books? How many of you are ready, just want to know what's the next step? What do I do with my book? Oh, great. Then you're in the right place. But sometimes for some of those that are kind of dragging and changing a little bit, it's because we always get sidetracked about other things. So the focus, if you're going to be a writer, your focus has to be on the book. I'm not saying put your family aside. I'm not saying doing it, just don't do the things that are necessary for day-to-day living. But you must make it a point to spend some time on your book. It could be 15 minutes a day. It doesn't have to look pretty, but the thing is,